Hmm. Okay, okay. Let's see. We'll start soon, but right now I'm just trying to fix some settings. And you know how it goes. My thing as a person with crappy internet, this is just the sad part about it. Right now I'm just making sure that audio is coming through. Testing, testing. Person with crappy internet, this is just okay. The sad part about it. Okay, internet. Okay, coming through. It's coming through. Testing on YouTube. I'm just making sure that audio is coming through. Perfect. Coming through. It's coming through. Testing. All right. Okay. All right. We're ready. We're ready. Okay. Well then, guys, welcome to the live stream or VOD, more likely. Today is just random stuff because I didn't actually know what I just put it random because I didn't know if I was gonna be gaming or doing it whatever. I was considering writing, but then like I'll do that on Friday. And because I'm also just stumped at the moment, I'm probably going to rewrite what we've written uh, on Monday. If anything, I won't delete just yet, but I might, or at least I'm just going to probably rewrite that thing because it just the flow of it is trash. I'll say that. For today, I'm probably just going to do something that I have been neglecting to do for a while, and that is just basically some Blender stuff. And if you didn't know, I did a lot of Blender stuff, or well, I did post a lot of Blender stuff, but I just have been on the down low about it. And today I am gonna do something that's what should I work on? I'm just gonna do a Blender model, but I just don't know if I should go. You know what? Let's check out the. Let's go back to the shotgun that plagued me for a while. And now we just wait for it to load in, and then unless I have it. Oh, there we go. It's just slowly loading in. Okay. Yeah. This. I do not miss this. At the same time, I do. But goddamn. It's one of those moments. This is how do I say this? This was a version of of a shotgun that I was trying to make, but it just did not work for two reasons. One, I was lazy and I just did not know. I used a different version of the shotgun. Excuse me. I used a different version of the shotgun, a more classic pump action, and I just essentially just replaced some parts without replacing everything. So that is issue number one that I'm facing. Is the fact that I was lazy and I did not want to replace everything, so I just made another copy and just placed back stuff over it. And number two is I am basing this off a model that I am not 100% sure on how it works fully, which is the which it and what I am basing this reload this pump mechanism on is the Kreutz rifle, which is basically which has a whole story behind it. And essentially it was I believe hold on. It was essentially during the I believe Spencer versus hold on. Just give me 1 second, just give me 1 second. But essentially I believe it was a okay, let's see. Kreutz rifle. And notice if I'm ready. which is based off of the Kreutz rifle. Yeah, let's see. It's yeah, it is a rifle made by Win. Well, the thing was that the Kreutz rifle was never truly existed in a sense. Like at least there, well, in a sense, it was basically a patent in England for a rifle, which was this model that I'm vaguely mimicking. And what basically happened was it was during, yeah, I believe it was a battle between Winchester and Chris Spencer. Essentially, what happened was Spencer wanted to basically pull the copyright claim on Winchester's pump action design, and essentially, uh, Browning is saying that like it's BS because everyone else is making pump action as well. And to basically prove his claim, they basically found multiple versions of. They basically found basically did all their damnedest to find some of the most absurd pump action patents, and one of these is this Kreutz rifle. And the funny thing was because is there was no actual rifle ever made, just a blueprint. So Winchester or essentially had to make it themselves based on the blueprints and basically like make a working model just to prove that yeah that like Spencer's pump action patent is basic copyright claim is BS, and that's how this weapon became known to, and was, or at least that's how I found this weapon. For more accurate information, go to Forgotten Weapons. Just look up Kreutz rifle. Um, Krutzsch. Kreutz. Because like Forgotten Weapons did a great video on it. That's how I found. Well, besides the fact that I was looking up steampunk weaponry and stumble upon this weapon, and then trying to find out more information about this weapon, I found Forgotten Weapons video about it. Unfortunately for me, I still don't quite understand how the mechanism properly works. Or at least because when he got the model, he unfortunately got a model that was essentially rigged to never work, or basically rendered to be, as in like essentially how do I say this? Like you know how museum weapon like guns in the museums are all rendered useless in a sense, or like basically rendered they can't fire a gun. They won't be able to fire anymore or work anymore. Like basically like a blocked barrel or clogged barrel or a missing firing pin, that kind of thing. They moved, from what I understood is, hold on. Let me actually just bring up the page. Give me a second. Let me bring up the page. Unfortunately for us, this is, wait 1 second. Let me just do this quick. Let's see. Okay, this is as fast as I'm probably gonna get. Okay, I'll bring up a photo of it in a second. Give me a second. Let's see. Capture. Oh, come on, just recognize it already. There we go. Here's the actual rifle that I'm basing on, which is the Kreutz rifle. And essentially, this was made to essentially, it was like an answer to like a pump action. or at least a version of a palm action. And the biggest problem is even with Forgotten Weapons video, could not for the life of me understand how it properly works. Or at least how it should work. From what I understand is the when it pumps, or at least the part that I do understand is that when you pump it, this whole back piece, which I believe is the breech, I don't know, I'm so bad with gun terminology. This whole back piece will rotate to the side, which ejects the bullet, I believe. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no, I don't know, I cannot find footage for the life of me to show. And then I believe once this shoots out, a new section connected by this cylinder that like when in ready, it's under, which is this. You see the segment right here. This segment should pop out, from what I understand. But the problem is that not seeing it in action makes it kind of hard to imagine how it's supposed to work. And this is even, and I'm saying, and this is how I believe it works. If anything, I'm gonna have to what I would pull up Forgotten Weapons YouTube video, but there's been, I don't know. It's been like, it didn't exactly help, and also not to mention I don't want to. It would, I don't know. It's just been. I haven't asked him permission to watch his videos and stuff, so that's the issue. But yes, unfortunately, that's one of the only pages I found for the Kreutz rifle. Besides some images and, ooh, that's bad. But yeah, this is the original. I believe the original. Oh, I think that's just a photo. Actually, no. Yeah, here's Forgotten Weapons video, but of course, I haven't asked permission to watch it, so I'm just not gonna touch it. But yeah, the issue right now I'm finding is just trying to see yeah, I tried to find images, but there is no image. All right, I believe this is the other. Oh yeah, I think this is the other. This may have been the other one, the other version that Browning and the Maid. Or I could be wrong. Then again, I think it means Forgotten Weapons. I think it was this one. Yeah, this is the other one. I'm dumb. It was in the freaking same video, I think. But yeah, unfortunately, there's just no, well, there's just no demonstration of the Kreutz rifle actually firing, because it was it was, thought of but never made and never actually tested in sense. Or at least when Browning and them tested it, it worked enough to win the court case, but there is no footage of it that I know of. Because everything is only either similar weapons or not the same weapon. And just Forgotten Weapons video, which I did watch. It sort of helped. It didn't fully help, is all I can say. But yeah, hold on. Let's just get back to the actual blender. Give me a second. Just gotta do quickly. Just delete these. Okay. But yeah, right now the issue I'm facing is this would theoretically rotate, and then like something will second part of the bottom part would shoot up and and reload or load in the next chamber. That is how it works, or at least that's how Forgotten Weapons that it worked. I trust him, and he also was there. But unfortunately, just like when you don't, because like he wasn't able to make it work because it was because the the model he was given was basically fudged. Like essentially, it could not fully rotate in. It could not set in. Like basically, they screwed it over so that way like yeah, no one can use this to theoretically shoot somebody. You know how like museum weapons are rendered, as I mentioned earlier, rendered firearms are rendered useless, essentially inactive. But anyways, what I'm trying to do at least is trying to make a configuration that is similar to that, but at the same time, I am struggling making that work because but when you don't know how a gun works properly, and, and I'm trying to keep everything. I mean, that's why I initially gave up, and honestly, speaking about it, I see why I'm still probably gonna give up on this. But I just wanted to show it off because this was what essentially killed the fun for me for a while. But what did bring back is uh don't save. I don't even think I did anything but don't save. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh, a lot of things that I can share. There's my lover rifle. Where you know what? Hold on. Here's the set that I made just to show off. Yeah, unfortunately, not all of these are up to date, but what I do, god damn it, I do enjoy these. There's the one, all of these are like based off of real gun, semi-real guns, or at least I try. I don't know, just basically, I don't know, just like a steampunk phase that I had, especially with the revolvers and stuff. Of course, these are not the final versions of it. This is just like I just decided to put them together. And this little beauty was based off of was a simple like improv. I get it was like basically it was heavily inspired by both the by the movie the Jackal, which is basically a movie about an assassin who used who essentially was trying to I didn't fully watch the movie, but I just saw like the clips of him like with like a with a sniper rifle that was built like it was like a you know how like like in Mission Impossible 5 they had the like during the Hungarian prime minister assassination attempt Tom Cruise and like everyone had like basically like spy-esque weapons, like spy-esque sniper rifles. Like they were like he had one that's made out of flute. Um, Rick, what's the actress name? But like she had like one that's part of a railing, and the other bad guy had one that's made from his made with his tonfa, his baton, and that. But yeah, and also that inspired me. The other inspiration was from Henry's survival rifle, which was which the way to see it properly is the idea is that it because like the survival rifle supposed supposed to basically essentially be a stock that you can fit a whole weapon, a whole survival rifle, like parts, magazine, barrel, and full the the main body. And basically you can take it out and then you would the survival rifle actually is you take that part this whole front part, put it onto take it out of the stock and then like attach it to the front of the stock like a normal rifle, and then you have a survival rifle. I was about to do that. Well, I took that inspiration of it hiding, like basically being in the stock, inside the stock, and placed it, but had it like as like a backup weapon, as a backup emergency survival rifle. Of course, not everything fits 1-to-1 because, or at least this is like the idea of it, is that it will fit inside, and then of course not everything fits properly because but yeah, that's the idea. But yeah, it was just something cool I just had to make, like basically a whole emergency rifle inside your well regular rifle, because like the idea was that you wouldn't shoot, well you could, but like it wouldn't be great for a small game, like if you're in an emergency situation, like if you, because no one's, because like I'm pretty sure everyone will tell you that like everyone hunts, when you're hunting small game, use like 22 long rifle or 22 magnum or win mag, not magnum, 22 win mag, that's what it was. But basically that's the idea behind this rifle, and it's just a simple one shot. You pull it. This is where the Jackal rifle was. It was inspired by the Jackal rifle, like a simple twist and pull back, and turn and then push back and lock it in. And of course you just have like a giant. You essentially have like a giant and of course your scope on it. Because that was the thing that like slightly annoyed me about the Henry rifle, was that unfortunately it just did not. It just came with like regular iron sights and no. And it had a railing, yes, but it did not have enough space to put the red dot inside the stock. So yeah. Anyways, enough ranting about that. Don't save. Let's see. Let me just show you the actual, well, the updated versions of the revolvers, if I can find it. If I can find it. Let's see, where was it? Where was it? I have a yeah. If you're reading these, you'll see that I have a lot of. I made a lot of guns. That's because they were just easy to make for me. I don't know why. Here's the updated version of the guns. I was making yeah, for the 38 I was making. I'll explain that in a moment, but for now, let me just explain how the 38 and 3 or the 44 and the 357 work. Because essentially what was originally just this was the updated version of it. Not too much difference like from the original ones. Maybe I think maybe a slightly different handguard, and also like a little bit of more on the frame. But what? And of course, it's like a swing out cylinder. Oh yeah, with like a giant pad, a padded finger. Because essentially the idea is that like, because like on a normal revolver, like a swing out revolver is like they have like a little button that like you would press, and then yeah, and basically I just made it a giant button just because I like to, because like the idea is that like left-handed or right-handed, you'll be able to hit the button easily, or like you'll be able to push the button easily. I mean, like granted, like if you're trained on a revolver, you probably can do that with both hands either way. But the idea is just simply that like you know, big button, easy ergonomics essentially, but also it was also like as also for another reason, which was to just even out what I'm basically doing is a gas system. And let me just remove the 44 out of the way because it's essentially the same thing. Essentially, the gas system, theoretic, like it's fake science. Here's basically some fake science, which is basically, well, I mean, like it's kind of inspired by real, or at least like by rifles. But the idea is essentially the gun would shoot, then like essentially gas would when the gun shoots, gas will fill in this cylinder, and it basically starts turning gears that are built that are like on the that are in the frame but on the side in the frame essentially. Not like because like it's still like a solid frame, but like everything else is on this. It's like built on the side, like like steampunk. I mean, like it's a steampunk inspired gas system, basically. Anyways, it shoots, bullet goes out, gas builds up into here, travels, yada yada yada. It turns gear, and essentially what it does is that it cocks the hammer back automatically to make it so that essentially every shot you take basically is a single action. Yeah, so as for people who don't understand how revolvers work, I don't either, but I don't know too much about revolvers. People will probably explain it better than I can. But essentially, double action. So to understand single action on a revolver is single action when you have to manually pull the hammer back, and then you pull the hammer back to load the shot, and then you can pull. Then once you pull the trigger, it will shoot. Like to make it even easier. Imagine think about like every spring nerf, every pump nerf gun you have. That's it. Like every nerf gun you have that isn't like that doesn't run on batteries or anything. Those are essentially a nerf. Those are essentially a single action guns in a sense because like you have to prime it, and then you can shoot. That's essentially what a single action does. Is basically like that's like an easy way to think about it. Double action is essentially the trigger, and for the and essentially double action is essentially you pulling the hammer or you pulling the trigger. It will pull the hammer back, and then once it reaches a certain point, it will shoot a swing. It will be released and hit the bullet, and that will cause it to fire. So basically, that is essentially how most gun most guns work now. Like nowadays, is that most modern revolvers are double action now. I believe. I'm not sure, but I believe so. Most of them are double action. So essentially, you shoot once it charges, and then once you pull it, you try to shoot again. It'll pull back, shoot again, pull back, shoot again. That's a double action. So to recap, single action, you have to pull the hammer back yourself, and then you can shoot. But for double action, you can just shoot, and then the hammer will automatically pull back, release, and shoot. So, but the thing, but the reason why, and here is the reason why single people of course even in still, oh yeah, to clarify, you can still shoot double action revolvers into single action because you can still pull the hammer back on double action revolvers, so that way, and then shoot. The reason why you do that is because when you do when you pull it back when you pull the hammer back yourself, it makes the trigger less heavy to pull because if you because it's like essentially because like when you shoot without pulling the hammer back on a double action, it's like you're doing two chores at the same time, essentially, or you're doing two things at the same time, essentially, which is pulling the hammer back and then it'll fire, or like you have to keep pulling until it fires, and then for single action, you basically cut it down to two tasks. You pull it, and you pull the hammer back, and then you shoot. Then you can shoot. But but for double actions, you shoot, but then like it's a heavy pull, I guess, like a heavy trigger. But anyways, this mechanism essentially is this mechanism essentially will shoot gas, basically prime will take every single action revolver slash double action revolver, and or at least basically this mechanism makes it that when once you shoot, it'll prime it back automatically. That is the idea of this mechanism. And before and before you ask, are they actually basically making it semi-auto? And before you ask, yes, they are semi-auto revolvers. They're just very rare, and they're not as well. They're just not as popular. No, not popular, but they're just way more expensive and way more difficult to make. And how they work, and some how semi-automatic work is like this. Well, like for real semi-automatic weapons, like so. For example, let me just pull up a pistol because I do have a pistol. Give me a second. No, don't save. Where's the pistol? Does this work? Okay. Well, this is not exactly the most proper pistol. This is more of a this is a sci-fi-esque pistol, so don't worry about it too much. But essentially, how it works, or at least, like all pistols are semi-auto pistols. So how it essentially works is when you pull the trigger, it will send it will send either a striker or the hammer back. Well, in this case, a hammer. The hammer will fly forward, and essentially, the hammer will fly forward. It will hit the back of the. It'll basically shoot it, and then the whole slide. But in this case, it's just like a half slide, like a Desert Eagle. But the point still stands that the slide will slide back, and basically rechamber the hammer. And that's essentially why all double action pistols, like besides the first shot, unless you pull the hammer back or yada yada yada, the makes it like the first trigger easy makes the second trigger easier unless you already primed the pistol. All right, unless you already cocked the hammer back, and from there, essentially, so basically of the the slide, which is basically the top part that covers the barrel and all the internals of the top part of what would be a pistol. Basically, it will move it basically and prime the next shot, and also just like kills, and also it just helps with recoil. But basically, that slides back. The whole slides back and primes the next shot. That is basically how pistols work. Because, well, yeah, basically primes back, ejects the round, next clanks, it comes back into place, and basically is ready to shoot the next round. What a semi-auto revolver does is basically use this formula. And what happens is when you're doing is hold on, let me bring up the Mateba because the Mateba is a good example. So let me just show you a real example of a Let me just bring this up. Just give me a second. Well, if it will recognize the goddamn page, be easier. But because it'll be so much easier if I can show you it. But you know what? Since it's taking forever to actually show, I'm just gonna essentially say this. So let me just re-explain. So essentially, for the revolver, how a revolver will work is it's like the whole section of like the top of the revolver, like the barrel, the cylinder, everything will be on top of a mount like this. And when it shoots, it would basically push back the whole top frame back, and like the whole top part of a revolver is on a slide, much like how like a slide on a pistol. And basically that is so that way when it shoots, it will push everything back and essentially cock the hammer. And that would basically prime the turn the revolver. That is essentially how a semi-auto revolver works. Is that everything's on top of a rail. It shoots, pushes back the entire top of the gun, except the hammer, because the hammer is attached to the bottom. And basically, the whole top part would push back, and it will basically push the hammer down into cock mode. Like it'll cock the hammer when it pushes back the whole thing. So imagine this moving back, but instead it's the whole revolver part on top. And the only thing on the bottom is basically a rail that it sits on, the trigger and the handle. And then like what else is attached to the back is just the hammer. And that would basically prime, and that basically how it primes. But that is a real version of a um that's a real version of a semi-auto revolver. But essentially, but yeah, anyways, that is how it works. But why they are not popular is because they are the best way to say it is expensive to make. And essentially people can it's expensive to make, it's hard to make too, because a lot of stuff is moving, so it takes more tech to make and stuff like that. Like how like no one in the right mind would try to use something like this in a real gun. I know that, but I did it because it just looked cool, and also it kind of just looks like the cylinder on like the Colt Peacemaker, or like the single army action single action army. Jesus, I said single action army Colt, like which is what that is the ejector. Well, not yeah, like it's the cover for the ejector, but yeah. So I essentially turned that bit into what would be a gas tube that sits on the side a bit. It pushes air on the side, blah blah blah, down down down. Pushes air, turns some gears, hits more gears. It turns everything down, and it cocks the hammer. Or at least that was the idea behind it. Whether it will work or not, probably not. But in the name of suspension of disbelief, I try to make something that I want to at least make it feel plausible, I guess. But anyways, that is essentially it. Oh yeah, why did I just bring this up? I forgot that I had this. I'm an idiot. I could have just brought this up or the semi-auto revolver. This is essentially how a real, well, quote unquote, how a real semi-auto revolver works. This one is based off the Webley, and essentially, as I said before, hold things on top of a slide, and basically when this shoots, this would basically push this whole thing backwards. And then the hammer would be connected down here, all the way down here, and as it pushes back, it just ends up pushing it down into cocked and cocking it for the next shot, and that's how it stays as a semi-auto revolver. That is the idea. But yeah, that is basically the idea of how a real and tested semi-auto revolver works. But anyways, I've been talking. I really thought I was gonna be modeling, but I just ended up talking about other stuff. Let's get off the guns for now. Let's go back to something that I originally wanted to do more of, but I just kind of stopped doing it because I am trash at making them. And here's the problem: is when you have all of these together, let's see. Yeah, this is the new one, or at least the one of the most up to date ones. And this, if you guys follow my channel, this is one of my first this is one of my first characters I've ever made. It's not too good, not if anything. The worst part is how it's built is the problem. It's because everything is like essentially a separate piece that I just basically glued together poorly. So parts don't really want to work properly is the best way I can say it. Oh, I'm in pose mode, no wonder. But yeah, I just glued parts together, keeping some parts separate so that way I can move them individually. Essentially, I'm doing like rigid posing, or rigid, I forget what it's called, rigid animation, or with the bones, because like each bone, because like for the most part, how most models work is there are a solid piece, or like they're made from one they're made from a single piece that's like been stretched out, blah blah blah. Or at least I think that's how it works. But I don't know. I'm a complete noob at this stuff too. But yeah, I am doing a very caveman-esque way of modeling these guys, and what's the word? The word. Connecting armature onto them. And yeah, if anything, if anything, I won't lie. These guys were a possibility of a game that I wanted to create, or I was gonna use these guys as in-game characters. Same with the guns as in an FPS, and well, maybe not an FPS, but it was actually no. I remember what they were for. They were meant for another book, but don't worry about that book because it's not coming out anytime soon. And it's not Hidden Class Joe. It's for a different. It was a different series. Don't worry about it because I haven't even started. It's still a concept in work. I just got, if anything, just all I did was just like made some guns that like I wanted my character. All the guns you saw in that I made, the steampunk guns, they were meant for that character. Let's just say that. And they were meant for they're just meant for a book, not for anything else. I mean, I could put them in a game, but then again, I need to know how to make them. Well, I mean, I don't know how to model, and I don't know how to animate properly, like for guns, anyways. Like, I mean, even then, I'm struggling to create movement with these guys. I can even like I made some movements, but not too many movements with these guys. Yeah, this guy was just. But yeah, I might as well explain the game. Well, this kind of game, and essentially how to this game was essentially gonna be a simple adventure game where you basically pick. You know, I'm not explaining it to you because I don't want ideas stolen. But yeah, this is. But basically, these characters are the most the biggest iconography is this part, which is essentially the core. I don't have an exact name for these guys, but the iconography, or at least the thing that's like defining is these essentially the core slash heart, like basically like a connect, like essentially like how like I guess it would be like the thing that like oh yeah that's from this blank blank, like the iconography, you know, like the defining iconography for these types. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. No save. Where's another one? Here's another one. Yeah, here's another one that I've been working on that took forever. Here's another one. And that has the same iconography. And why is it on the butt? I'll show you why. Because this girl is supposed to transform. This Uma Musume, Mecha Musume is supposed to transform from just a normal to a horse form. Yeah, because if I were to put up here, it I could put it up here, yes, but then like the re so you know what? I'll just screw it. Spoilers. It's not even that original, anyways. But essentially, robots. I don't really have a name for them just yet. But essentially, robots can connect to each other via these connect. These are essentially connectors, and they would basically have. How do I say this? They basically, if depending on who you're choosing or who's the main one, the other one becomes essentially a backpack with weapons, a weapons backpack essentially, and vice versa. And they're connected here. And the reason why I put it there is because then it would just look very. I mean, like the original idea was to put up here, yes, which is why you can clearly see where it would have been. But if I did that, then everything would look stupid back heavy. Because like I don't know, because if it connects down here, it looks a lot safer. I guess. Well, not safer, but it looks cleaner. Not to mention, like, if this girl, if she transfers back to her human, with her back into her human legs, it would not, it would change too much, I guess, if I were to go back, if it, because like in human form, it'll look fine with if it was up here, but if horse form, it'll just look bad, in my opinion, or look really top heavy, you know. Like it feels like this her back will bend backwards if anything. But if it's down here it looks nicer. But yeah, essentially that was the idea of these connectors is that they would connect, transform into backpacks, or depending on who's like gonna be wearing the backpack, who like basically this girl could be either the backpack or the one wearing the backpack, essentially. But yeah, this is not the only one. I have other ones. I'm not sure if I even I don't know, I just literally for an hour, I've just been talking about my Blender stuff. I haven't even actually done anything. Jesus. Let's see, where's the Guardian? Here's another one. Here is, of course, like not. I will admit that these are not all to proper scale. I will admit, because I believe this guy. I wanted him to be smaller. If anything, I'm gonna have to. Everything's like not to proper scale with each other, because like all the like in terms of like the size of these characters in comparison to the other robots, they should one should be bigger, one should be smaller, blah blah blah. If anything, I'm gonna have to essentially move, resize these to like give like a sense of scale, because this is like the indicator of like how big is one thing versus another. And yes, I purposely made it. I purposely made it so that like these are it's missing parts because this guy essentially defies gravity. Hold on, let me just show you the rig version. rigged animation. This should be it. Because essentially he kind of floats up and down, like in terms of idle positions. The irony, oh yeah, oh yeah. Now I remember what the original intent of the gameplay was going to be. So believe it or not, this what and this is also why they connect to the reason why they connect yada 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 like become backpack or be wearing backpack is the reason why is because I was I was into playing Pokemon Infinite Fusion, and you know how like Infinite Fusion you can take you can take two Pokemons, fuse them together and get cool new combinations. And of course like you can choose A or B depending on which one do you want as the base, or which one do you want as the as like the like, as which one you want as the base. So that's like essentially the reason why as creating idle positions, idle animations. Excuse me. But yeah, this was just like something I was trying to make, but I just never got around to. But yeah, these guys were originally meant to be in a video game, but which I clearly not ready to make at all. But yeah, this was like these were ideas. But my biggest crime, if anything, is all these models are well, they're pretty good for my. I kind of they could be better essentially, because they're all very rigid in design. Because like everything's like made like out of simple shapes. Like nothing's like you can clearly tell like I did not like shape them myself from like what like a modeling, a sculpting. I did not sculpt anything. Everything is like a simple shape or so, just like slightly different angled and stuff. Nothing is complete. Nothing is like sculpted properly, or like it's like a actual proper sculpt. Everything's just like mixture of just like cutting and cutting, gluing together, just color separations, yada yada yada. Because my ability as a Blender artist is pretty mediocre in comparison to thousands of people who make who actually do this for a job or a living or just as a hobby. But yeah, I still consider myself pretty amateurish. Actually no, I that's an insult to amateurs. I am a noob, or at least I'm just like intermediate noob, I guess. Uh, and then like let's see, who else did I have? Better. No, that's not it. Hmm. Oh yeah, this is for my friend. When I just decided to just I wanted to try making this was my first attempt, and I think I did pretty good. Although, if anything, I'd say I did pretty good. Although it's like not, it's still like pretty amateurish. But yeah, this was my first attempt at actually modeling with like sculpt. I think I did okay, but I don't know if I'm doing too well. Are you streaming on other platforms as well? Yeah, nobody 151. No, I am dual streaming right now on both YouTube and Twitch at the moment. But yeah, I've just been I don't know, just a hobby, nothing too serious. This was just like to like just because I don't know, I just want to like just do something nice for my friend whose book whose book is out. That's essential on Amazon. But what else? What else? I don't know. I really thought this was gonna be a I really thought this was gonna be a actual stream a Blender stream where like I'm making stuff, but at the moment all I'm doing is just going through my list, my backlog of just ideas for Blender objects, and half of them are just basically guns or weapons. And the reason for that is because I don't know, they're just because guns and weapons are just easy to make. Well, quote unquote easy. Well, easier to make over humanoid figures for me at least. Because for the most part, guns and weapons are rigid. Oh yeah, here's yeah right. This was this was like for another game that I thought of that I wanted. Yeah, just there's a lot of stuff. I don't know. I didn't actually. This was not planned. This was just a random stream, if anything. Like I really thought I may try drawing, but then like just going through these, I'm just like, heck no, bro. I'm a goblin. This was by far my most like I did like this design, but at the same time, I'm gonna probably have to workshop this the hell and back because yeah, you can see it's supposed to be a robot and it looks nothing like a robot, or at least not too like it's not bad, but like I just kind of like it just doesn't really have anything that remotely resembles a robot. Like if you besides like the rigidness of it, like if you just make if anything, I'm just gonna have to make more mechanical designs because everything just looks like a regular goblin in armor with a backpack with a weird symbol in the back. Even though it's supposed to be a robot, it's not. It doesn't look remotely like a robot. But yeah, if anything, what's your name on Twitch? Just Rocky Tells. That's that's the name. Like skip the Rocky Tells production. Yeah, I just cut it down to Rocky Tells. They should just. That's what I believe is. Yeah, it should just be Rocky Tells, no capitals. Yeah, just like I'm just been. Just shows you my. Oh yeah, here you want to see my laziest? Oh yeah, here's my laziest one that I made. The laziest one that's supposed to be in the same universe. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know why I made such a thing, but I just did. My laziest design ever. Just a simple box. I think it was literally just just a simple box, just a simple box turret with the same connecting point. Oh my goodness. It's so I did not try it this day. I'm pretty sure I made this for a short too. But yeah, it's like my laziest one yet. Let's see. But yeah, everything. Oh yeah, my Godzilla, my golden deck. Oh yes, my golden deck. Just a simple. Yeah, I remember making this weapon. It was a because I remember the first time I heard it, the golden dag, which is essentially just a giant was essentially a club with a spike on the top. Essentially like essentially if you take a spear and then make it like a spear in a mace had a baby essentially. Of course mine of course like an actual golden egg is essentially just this part of the iron cap with the spike and then nothing down the middle and then also more tapered like a baseball bat essentially. Or at least that's what I believe. It might not be tapered, but essentially just this, just the cap and the iron spike, but I added this whole stuff just to make it look nicer. What else? Besides that, I mean, I just have a lot of weapon. Oh yeah, and these are some more designs. Oh my god, I just have a backlog of these that Yeah, just like some idea. I just made a lot of cool like models for like game des- some game ideas that I had, but because I just suck at well, because I'm lazy and I just did not want to learn Unreal Engine. But yeah, this was like another design I made. Of course, like they're so rigid and like so undetailed that like they look disgusting if they ever like looked at the wrong position. Yeah, even I swear I made this whole thing, but that's to not make anything. I I initially thought I was gonna be making something or continue on a project, but then I just ended up looking at all my project instead, like not actually doing anything. I'm just looking at the projects and then not do with like nothing but just looking, not even actually touching anything, just like explaining my thought process and stuff. Uh, Jesus. Oh yeah, here was my. This is V2. Where's. Alright, I changed it to leader. That's right. The name was original general, but I changed it to leader. Where's leader? There he is. Which is the one you're most interested in currently? Honestly, I have no clue because it's just like a backlog. But this is the one that I was last working on, if anything. I wanted to complete this, but then like it was just like a met. As you can see, it's essentially this was gonna be. Man, I forgot what I. I think this guy has been reworked over and over to like which game he was gonna be in or which. Because let's just say I had plenty of ideas that or at least for games that I wanted to exist. One was essentially a open world survival game, just like your Minecraft and stuff like that. Another was like, I guess like almost a gacha game, kinda, or it was. Oh yeah, no, it was originally like a Pokemon turn-based kind of game with less semi RPG, but it's like like very light RPG mechanics. And then like the one that I've been, or at least like in terms of game ideas, my most recent one is just which I'm surprised hasn't happened yet, which is a hero horde shooter. Which let me explain what I mean by that. So essentially, like I won't lie, because like if anything, Overwatch, like ever since they pitched the idea that like a campaign. No, I'm not a game dev. I'm just a guy who just likes the idea. I'm not a game dev. Sorry, I am just a stupid guy who has ideas but never puts in the work to actually achieve them. That's all I'm saying. I'm just a I'm just a yapper. I just have ideas, but I do not have the talent at all. Like I have vision, but no talent. You know, like I just talk. I don't. I just talk the talk. I don't walk the walk. Essentially. But yeah, the idea. My most recent idea was a hero horde shooter, which is basically just like. Well, I think everyone was generally hyped about the idea of a like Overwatch campaign, but then like they just never made a campaign for that. Like the whole like character character progression, like you play a hero, you can choose mix and match skills and stuff, and then you play through a campaign, blah blah blah. And yeah, like cuz I do enjoy hero shooters, but like for the most part I like PvE content way more than PvP. Like against like just like NPCs and stuff. Like one of my favorite games of all time has to be Left 4 Dead 2. And just like because like there's just something so fun about like so simple about those games and so fun about those games. Just like basically going through a whole level with friends or alone, shooting down zombies or just shooting down enemies, and then like trying to complete tasks, trying to complete like Payday 2. The Payday 2 is another a great example of a horde shooter. But for the most part, I've been trying. I just thought the idea of a like I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, or at least I blame Overwatch for not actually making it complete, which was actually making a campaign or like a hero horde shooter. Because I think whenever I'm pretty sure everyone had like so much praise for when Overwatch released those mini campaign like a while back, like as DLC. I forget what it's called. I started. I didn't start. Well, I mean, well, like yeah, I guess like well to me like I didn't really. It's not really a definition of a pro. I well, my definition, I did not remotely start a project. All I did was just basically create a character, and then like I did nothing with it. I went with nothing with it, but then again, if that's, but I guess that is a start too. So thank you. But yeah, just like I just have ideas, but then like I just like am too lazy, and I'm just like I do not have the patience to. I really need to learn to have the patience to learn how to actually code and shit. Because unfortunately, from my lazy ass is I just I don't know. Like there's so many things I could have done. Like I could have probably used boot.dev to help. Or I should really consider doing that and start to learn. But at the same time, like I'm also working on a different project, which is um which is a lot easier in my opinion, just because like there's not a lot of learning to do besides like the only big problem is just having a writer's block, and that is I'm currently trying to write a manhwa slash just light novel, which is named Hidden Class Jolt. Uh, right now I currently have 5 chapters out. Dude, 21, 200, 211 vids ain't lazy at all. Yeah, but I mean like yeah, that's true. I guess that's fair. But I mean like for like actual meaningful, well, I mean like for actual like the gaming projects that I had, like I didn't start on them at all is what I meant. But yeah, thank you, dude. I appreciate the compliment. But yeah, it's just like I freaking cannot. Ugh. But yeah, right now I'm currently working on a light novel slash manhwa slash web novel, and right now you can read them all on royalroad.com on and the title is Hidden Class Jolt. And if you go to my other if you go to the VODs I have placed in if you go to like the playlist for my book, then you'll see links for like in the during the writing sessions you'll see a link to go to the page, so that way it'll just be easier to go through that way. Because I will not blame anyone who fudges writing my name or the title of my book. But yeah, currently I'm writing chapter 6. I'm in a writer's block. I'm gonna continue writing on Friday. I started on Monday. I'm gonna continue writing on Friday. Cause yeah, cause I'm trying to get a consistent live stream schedule going down. But yeah, I'm a computer science undergrad myself, but I don't really know anything about games. Trust me. No, that's honestly the fact that you're still in computer science. I was in computer science, but I gave up because I did not understand shit. So yeah, so yeah, like honestly, computer science is probably the way to go because I don't, from my understanding, is like there's so much technology going on that like then again, I don't know, the job market just kind of sucks ass at times because but yeah, like I was originally a computer science or at least I was I was going for a computer science degree, but then the first class I took for computer science, I was like, I do not understand shit about coding. So I was like, I gave up because like the only reason why I even somewhat passed the first class was because I had my friend who already took the class essentially cheat for me by basically giving me the answers like, oh yeah, you just do this for the code. I'm like, oh okay, thanks man. But yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That's when I learned that like as much as I would like to be like make games, I do not understand shit about coding. And that's essentially killed that dream for me. But yeah, but uh yeah, for most part, like honestly, I don't know. Yap about games too, but like at best I just play games at best. Like, but then again, like it's like a dilemma of like I guess you can semi like, judging a game like even though you don't understand it, but then at the same time it's like well, I mean like anyone can tell you like anyone can say like everyone can like be like, oh, yeah, I understand the effort you make to I understand the work you put into baking a cake, but then like I can still also say that this cake still tastes like shit, you know? So that's like the essentially like like how criticism, I don't know, like yeah, game development is like, or at least in the West, it's kind of ass right now. 'Cause, I mean, like look at Concord, you look at High Guard, you look at almost every AAA game at the moment. It's just like there is just so much crap you have to dig through to find like good games. And half the time the good games are not even made in the West. It's like made in Japan, like or just by like trusted manhwa. Oh yeah, so what manhwa is essentially, so so basically manhwa is Korean manga. Like manga is Japanese, manhwa is Korean. And essentially that's basically the what it that's why I'm saying it because like because like have you heard of Solo Leveling or any other or have you read any other Korean mangas or anything? Because that would be because because basically my story is inspired by, or at least like is inspired by those types of manhwas. Like of course it still has like because like it's more like it's like because like manhwa, but yeah, basically manhwa is Korean Korean manga. Well, manga is just like because like manhwa is Korean, manga is Japanese. I'm sorry, I'm just butchering my explanation. I'm sorry, but yeah, the why I was saying manhwa is because it's because my story is more geared towards like Korean style, comics, I guess. Not gonna lie, I'm a nerd in CS, but I don't watch anime or play any video games. That's fine, man. Honestly, I don't even watch too much animes anymore. Too. I still watch from time to time, but if anything, I just have not like. If anything, I actually start. But yeah, but I thought so. Oh yeah, no. It was just. Well, I mean, like, it's not that it's made. No, it's no. Solo Leveling is from Korea, but yeah, it is like. I mean, like, granted, it has been dubbed in anime. I believe it. Yeah, Crunchyroll took it. I forget. Wait, who's the animator? Hold on. I believe it was Map. Was it Mappa? Hold on. Solo Leveling animator. Who was it? A1 Pictures. That's what it was. Yeah. Like so. Yeah. So Solo Leveling is a Korean comic that's like basically a Japanese animation studio was basic that Japanese studio took it and made it into an anime. So yeah, that's I can see. So yeah, don't. So yeah, that's where the semi confusion comes from. Is essentially cause like it's like how Avatar like have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? Because that is essentially an American cartoon that was made in Korea. So like basically, yeah. So because yeah, basically it's a Korean. Because yeah, Solo Leveling is basically a Korean manga, a Korean comic that's been made in Japan or animated by a Japanese studio. Is basically what happened. But yeah, there's a Korean dub, the Japanese dub, and the English dub. Of course, I watched. Of course, I saw it in Japanese. So but yeah, I know it's Korean because I mean I read the comic first before I read I watched the anime. So, but yeah, a lot. But then again, most people know the anime more now because like, usually because like anime is more mainstream than like comics are in general. Because like for the most part, if you're interested in other Korean comics, go to Webtoon's like a great source, a great free a great source to read some Korean mangas or manhwas. But yeah, if you're interested, you can go to Webtoon. There's like plenty of styles. I believe there are some. I believe that not all of them are Korean. There are, I believe, some American ones in there too. But I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Webtoon's like great website to go if you're interested in reading Korean style comics. And I believe there are some there, and but no, there might be some Japanese in there, but I didn't see any mangas. Most of the, well, except Full Metal Alchemist, I believe there is one there, but I'm not sure if it's actually the. I yeah, just but yeah. Forgive me, I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, for the most part, I'm trying to just write a Korean style light novel essentially because I can't draw for shit for the most part. Yeah, I didn't know manhwa is usually referring to Korean manga. I thought you were trying to pronounce a Chinese word. Well, I think there. Oh, actually, I think there is Chinese comic. I just forgot what the Chinese word is. Cause there is, because I know there is. I just don't remember what the. Uh, hold on, just let me fix dark mode. Is try. Oh yeah, it is. But yeah, actually, uh, funny enough, you spelling manhua is the Chinese word for is what is referred to Chinese Chinese comics. Ironically, like that's legit how you spell because like manhua is AMANHWA, but the Chinese one is what you spelled. Ironically, you actually I don't know if you actually knew, but that is actually the Chinese word for that's what is referred to as to Chinese manga. You accidentally guessed it. Congrats. But yeah, but yeah, just like like when a trend starts, I'm just like, I think speaking of Chinese mangas or Chinese animes, I think the last one I read was the King's Avatar, which is pretty freaking good, and and essentially it's the essentially like a esports anime or esports manga. Yeah, I learned Mandarin. That's how. That's great. That's great, man. I really need. If anything, for being such a weeb and such a like a weeb, I should really learn Japanese and Korean too. But I am. I don't know. I just never found time or effort to put it into doing so. I don't know. I just have some effort, but I just do not have. I have some effort, but then like I get immediately distracted, and I I never been like I never gone to a doctor to get fully diagnosed, but I think I may or may not have ADHD, or may just slightly have it. Then again, I've never been to the doctor to check on this, so I can't say for sure if that's actually true or not. But yeah, but yeah, just like uh oh boy, just like just for the irony is that I just originally wanted to well, I was gonna well, goddamn, this is this whole stream was such a nothing burger. Goddamn, just literally chatting with by myself, just talking to myself. I was originally planning to do something on Blender, but then like I just ended up just showing off my whole backlog of crap that I just like made but never actually finished or continued to the next level with them. And then I'm just talking to literally nobody on the stream, just like talking about anime, manhwas, and just like what I've been trying to do with my life. Uh, well, what a weird circle. Not to mention my character my character just does not look correct because I am looking because the reason why my if you're if just I keep forgetting that like my character's eyes close because the camera cannot because I'm right now I'm looking at the screen the right screen, but then like when I'm trying to read chat it's on the left monitor that I have. So that's why if you're so if you're just wondering why my eyes are closed half the time, it's because of that. Ugh. But yeah, just like I don't know, you know. But yeah, this is just this guy has gone through so many iterations as well. These colors are just kind of a well, if you're gonna tell me, it's kind of my Optimus Prime, my version of Optimus Prime s character. If you can also tell by the literal file name, leader. But yeah, he was. I don't know. The reason why his legs are unattached is because I was readjusting the height of the legs and stuff. And yeah, I was gonna give him more anime mecha proportions. You know, longer legs, shorter body, big arms, yada yada. But like then like for the I think like for the most part I've been like reworking his what game he was gonna be in because like originally I think he was gonna be part of the robots with like the circle in the back, but then like I moved him to a different game or a game like into a different universe really into like the hero horde shooter idea that I had, but of course like that really never that was just that's still just an in name only if anything or in word only nothing really. That's all right. I like how you keep on talking even when no one was commenting. They appreciate that. Yeah, gotta fill in air somehow. Because if anything, that's what I've learned is the you can't because like the thing that I learned about streaming is like, well, to make it entertaining for anyone to, but beside, because I can't because like the thing I learned from well just looking up like tutorials and stuff is that you don't you have to be talking like not just to people who are here, like you are now nobody. You are also speaking to like to future viewers who are gonna be, who may or may not watch this hour long video of nothing happening. But at least, essentially, like imagine, like, cause like, I guess like, you have to treat it like in a sense a podcast, but also not a podcast. If anything, what I should have done is that I should have kept a list of crap I could talk about like oh we can talk oh like how like the new Steam machine is out or like the pricing has been they posted like, like $1,000. That's kind of crazy, like that kind of stuff. In all honesty, it is kind of like huge, and it kind of sucks. But then like at the same time, it's like, damn, bro, like the, it's just like unfortunate. And the thing that really sucks is that it doesn't come with the controller either. It doesn't come with the controller. Like if you're paying $1,000 for just the machine alone, like granted it is a PC, so you could connect your keyboard and your mouse to the Steam machine, and then it'll work just like any like your normal PC. But then like at the same time, it's like like it's just frustrating because like I feel like to break like unfortunately that just like the reality, like the sad reality is that because like so many like tech companies are like shifting towards this stupid AI bubble, you know? Are you planning to somehow scale this channel, if you don't mind me asking, or is it just a high side hustle? Well, I guess like I do like if ever I guess like if anything, I should probably be I don't know, it's definitely well, I mean like it's like it would be a dream if this can become like the main thing, but at the moment it's kind of just like a side hustle because like I'm not making I the unfortunate thing is like I mean like of course I'm trying to if any how do I explain? You know what? I'm just saying it flat. I would love to make money doing this kind of thing, you know? Like I'm pretty sure anybody would love to like make money um just like talking, just like doing nothing but like, you know, who doesn't like the idea that hey, you make money being an idiot or just being an entertainer, you know what I mean? Or like basically doing something easy or something you love to do. Like who wouldn't love making money like that, you know? So, but like at the moment because I'm just starting out and I am kind of like unfortunately I kind of capped at 500 uh which is kind of unfortunate. I mean, of course I just started like Twitch like a month ago. So if anything, the thing I need to do is definitely be more consistent about streaming and also about just posting content, which I am starting to do for streaming, but not for posting content. Because if anything, I if anything, I just found because like my series that I was running was Let Me Yap, because I did make plenty of shorts just like talking just about anything. But at the moment, I just kind of like don't know what to talk about. You know, I just didn't have like a good topic that I was like interested in. Also, just like because and like the biggest issue I'm facing for the most part is that I really hate editing. Like as a like that's like the worst thing you can say as like a content creator or that's like the worst part about being for me as a content creator is I hate editing my own videos. Because like the problem is that I face is that I take forever or like it's so boring for me. It's just boring to me to edit a video like hours of footage that sort of makes me laugh. Well, it's actually no, it does make me laugh, but it's just like just having to but like there's like plenty of moments that make me laugh when I'm watching these recordings that I have of me and my friends because like there's no way I'm streaming with my friends just like mostly due to privacy and also just like but well like I mean like well semi privacy but mostly just because like I don't know I don't want to there's gonna be some wild shit said that's all I can say that I am cutting out but for the most part I'm trying to keep it on the down low but I don't know just like I wish there's like plenty of things I want to get going but at the most part it's like yeah, editing is just a. I just hate editing, and that's why I kind of switched to live streaming. Like originally, I was actually just posting recordings of me, literally just talking as I'm writing down chapter by chapter. only for it to be like, hey, this is essentially a VOD. You know what? Let me just live stream these VODs so I can just get something out of it. And for the most part, I believe that is like, I think that is the correct choice for me, because because like at the because if I were just to record it and just talk, it'll essentially be the same thing, just except that I am not talking as much because I am not trying to talk to anyone. I'm just trying to talk to myself, just trying to write this thing. Actually, no, I'm not even talking to myself. I'm just thinking to myself because I'm not thinking about talking to someone who will be watching a live stream. I'm just thinking to myself how to write this stupid book. Well, like what to write next on the plot. Not, I don't know why I said stupid, but like, you get the point. Is like, because like, like a different, there's like a mind, it's like I have a different mindset. There's like a different mindset for different things. When you're recording, I think it's hard to be like, oh, I gotta be entertaining. I gotta talk about something on the spot. But like in live streaming, it's like I can at least bullshit my way through. that's that's how I see it, at least. Is that I'm just BSing my way through as I'm talking to just random people or just to myself, and then just like, hey, let's freaking do this and that. But at the same time, just like, okay, then you know what? Let's take this route, and then like let's do that. But then like also because like when I'm recording, anyways, I realize I don't even cut down. I basically just lazily, okay, I have the whole recording, put my character here, put the character there, and then just let go. Just whole thing. I just post the whole VOD, no editing, anything, just left it in whole thing. So it's just like that's just essentially a VOD. So might as well just try live streaming it. But yeah, not to mention like live streaming is also, in a sense, semi motivate is giving me some form of motivation to actually write my book, because or like to consistently write my book, because for the most part, but yeah, that for the all the projects I am trying to commit to at the moment is definitely my book, because this book has been in freaking writer's hell for so long. It's been like a year or two that I was stuck on chapter 1 and 2 and 3. Like I've only start like the idea of this book has been like there from the beginning, from like 3 years, 4 years ago. I don't know. And the funny thing was, it's like funny how like, cause like I originally just like wrote it as like a parody of Solo Leveling, or like just other manhwas at the time. Cause like it's like, cause like I was just it was like part of like it was like part cynicism and part just like flattery, or like just like because like the idea was like, yeah, like Solo Leveling is like very basic. It's like I can write this, so I was just gonna write a stupid parody, and then like as I was writing, I was like, wait a minute, I could actually. As I was writing this, I was like, I was really getting into it, and I was just getting into it. It really became less of a parody and more, or like because like every because like even like my main character Shin Jun Woo is literally a playoff, was like sort of a, it's like basically a parody of a Sun Jin Woo, you know, because but then like I was like as I was like thinking about it, it was also a parody, but then it also has like a legitimate meaning in Korean too. That's like that is um predicated on my book's title. So it's just like, wait, this actually kind of works, as I was like putting actually more effort into it. But then like as I was putting more effort into it, and then like I realized that like I just kind of stopped, you know? I just like stopped trying to write for a bit, because like, life gets in the way, blah blah blah. And then like motivation kind of just dried out. I was like stuck at chapter 3 for like so long. Chapter Actually no, I was just stuck rewriting chapter 1 for so long. Actually, because like the thing was that like if you probably haven't seen my other VODs, but for my previous VODs, I have just been I have said this many times, I think. I may be lying, but I'll say this now is that I have restarted, rewritten chapter 1 and so for so long it just like it was like cuz like it was like a matter it was like the idea of like no, that's not good enough. No, I need no this no, I don't want to set this tone. No, just like no, this isn't right. No, this like this poor writing just like no, 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 no. It's just like me second guessing, second guessing, re-editing, 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 rewriting, rewriting, rewriting until like I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna write it once more and I'm gonna just leave it and then continue from there. And then like I started writing chapter 2, and then I started writing chapter 3, and then like the thing that really pushed me to really write more like seriously is that my friend he wrote his he was essentially my biggest inspiration for writing a book. Uh cuz he also like cuz he would come to me, my best friend will come to me from time to time asking me about like, hey, should the story go like this, or hey, what do you think about this part? He's always asking me questions to help me him write his story. And I remember I remember one thing, like I remember one argument that I had with him. Well, like not really argument. Like we're not like hating each other or anything. It was just more like basically an argument on how the story will end slash progress. And basically he wanted essentially this he wanted this how he had the idea because like he knew how he wanted the story to end slash go on. But for me, I want to but then like as I was thinking about it, I just kept like asking him like, okay, but would it make sense for this character to do that? And like basically just like I was it was like what we were arguing about like basically how would this make sense. Like I like understood where he wanted to go with the story, but I wanted to make sure that like the characters like it makes sense with the characters to go with that along with that story beat essentially. And then it's like as I was speaking about it, and then like of course we came to a compromise, and then like basically I just had to like essentially I would let him go through with what he wanted. But the thing was that I just wanted to make sure that like, okay, at least make it mix. I want to at least make it make sense with the characters, or like, why does because how to explain this without spoiling? So essentially, no, no, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. I don't want to spoil the book. But essentially, it was basically down to. But yeah, never mind. Basically, we compromised, or at least, well, like it was basically it was semi a compromise. He went with the way he wanted to end the story, but I just want to make sure that like his character, the characters will like act in a way that it makes sense to that ending. I guess, like as in like what it like does it make sense with the character to do this? Like and then that was when I realized that I was having that me and my friend had a what's it called? It was a Watson versus. It was a what was it? Watson versus. Yeah, it was a Watson versus Doylist argument. And what that basically means is that basically uh basically I was what for essentially is like doesn't like how to explain this argument. So, okay, let me just look up the actual dictionary of it. Basically the it's like this is when a creator answers a question about their work. Should they provide an in-universe answer or real life answer? The former is Watsonian perspective, the latter Doyus. Basically, so basically, he he was Doyus, I was Watsonian. Basically, he knew he wanted he wanted the characters to go in the certain route, but I wanted to at least make sure that the characters going on that route makes sense, or like the reason why they're going down this route, it makes sense why they're doing that route. You know, like for example, let's take what's a what's a recent game or just a recent idea. So let's say, hmm, okay, you know what? Let's go with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. So let's say, because like for Adoyus, J.R.R. Tolkien wants Frodo and the crew to go to what the reason like Frodo, like from Adoyus' view is like Frodo separating from the group is something that he wants to happen. From a Watsonian point of view, is asking, or like that's where Tolkien wants as a Doyus is that he wants Frodo to be separated from the group, because that way like it'll be more interesting from the story, like to write a story that way. But from a Watsonian point of view, is like, okay, Frodo wants to remove himself from the group because the ring is like basically like the great evil it could cause is gonna he just experienced the reason why he needs to separate himself from the group, or else this great evil will tempt his friends to evil, you know? That is essentially the Watsonian point of view, is asking what would the characters do in the situation, and Doyas is basically what are the characters going to do in the situation, or like what are like basically Doyas is like, okay, the story beats are this. Watsonian is okay, characters will go from this point of view, this story beat like that to that story beat like this, and that story into this story beat like that. And it was like a very beautiful, and it was like a very simple, like a very like beautiful moment in my like, because like we just had like such a simple argument that I didn't realize we had was Watsonian versus Doyas. But yeah, he uh he also finished that book, and he published it on Amazon, Densenshu, and that he even gave me a free copy that I still need to read. I'm such a he said it's fine that I haven't read it, but like but just like I feel bad for not reading it too. I won't lie. But for the most part, his like him like dedicating himself to writing a full book is what drove me to try to write a full book. And it wasn't until recently that I actually started to publish chapter by chapter by chapter. And right now I only have 5 chapters out. I'm currently working on 6, which would be on this Friday, hopefully, if nothing comes up. If not, then I'll move it to Saturday, and we'll write on Saturday or maybe Sunday. I don't know. Hopefully, if I have a free day, I'm going for it. Hopefully Friday. And for the most part, I'm just trying. It's just like that's what really motivated me to actually write. And I don't know. Just like it gave me like, because like he was willing to do it. He put in the effort. He was going to try it. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's I guess like, yeah, that's like a great way to put it. Basically, yeah. We just had differing opinions, or more like, yeah, differing opinions, but and then like inspired me to just create. Yeah. If anything, I did create. Yeah. That's that is perfectly what it is. Is that I wasn't I wanted to be if it yeah, it basically inspired me to write a story that I can be in control of everything. Not that I was against him having control of everything. It's more like I just want to make sure that the story makes sense from a reader's point of view, in a sense, and also from a character's point of view. But yeah, that's a great way to put it. Nobody. But yeah, if anything, if anything, it's just more motivation for me to actually write and actually publish. Because if anything, I've been writing, but I just never published anything. And while he want, thank you. Yeah, the dinosaur character is definitely just I don't know, just like just something. The reason why I did a dinosaur character was well, besides the fact that I wanted a cute mascot for the channel, is that also just because I just love dinosaurs too. But yeah, if anything, I just wanted to I really wanted to but yeah, that's I don't know. I just made like some goofy characters for my friends too. Just like a simple art style, like this like crude and everything. Even this even this model I made is like like I made it myself, which is what the reason why it looks so bad. Well, not that's bad, but it's like it's rigged badly. But but it but yeah, it's just like I love dinosaurs. Like I haven't grown out of it, you know? Like most I guess like most people do get out of the dinosaur phase and as a kid, but I just never did. Like I still love Jurassic Park. Even though like the even though like the Jurassic World trilogy is kind of a it's like a hit or miss. And like the new one is like oh, it's like eh. But but then like it still doesn't kill my joy for dinosaurs. Like I don't uh I don't know, I just love dinosaur-esque designs like dragons are just like the next easiest thing for me to love too, you know? Like who doesn't love a cool dragon? Like but yeah, if anything, going back to the same topic, because of his like effort and like his dedication to writing his book, it gave me motivation and courage to actually write my own story or to actually continue with the no, let me scratch it. Already wrote it. I just did never had the courage to actually continue with it. I just wrote essentially I wrote a rough draft, but never really put it to like through editing and through rewriting, and then I actually posting it for people to read. I thought about going the way he did, which was write a whole book and publish it as a whole thing and selling it on Amazon. I thought about that, yes, but then at the same time, I'm like, I don't know how to end, or at least I at the same time like I don't know if people will want to buy a book from a person that just like essentially self-published. So I just thought like a simple way, not to mention like I'm not sure how my style of writing or the that style of writing will hit the Western media or Western audience essentially because I don't know, like basically it was basically just like but at the same time I like thinking I think I prefer to I was originally gonna post it on Wattpad but then like I was like thinking like maybe you know what, let me just check the other sites to see uh where I could post it. Be the one telling the daily story like a vlog style. Yeah, that's probably true. If anything, if I ever get big, I will definitely try to I'll definitely try to get a better model or at least a nicer looking model too. Of course, not saying that this one's bad, but like definitely getting like one that's like properly rigged and everything. But but yeah, just like I definitely need to But yeah, if anything, uh, this coming Friday, hopefully, if nothing comes up, uh, we will definitely be seeing. We will. The next stream will be basically me writing chapter, continuing on with chapter 6. And if anything, I've been trying, at least hope, like if anything, I did find some success on Royal Road. But right, no, skip back. I'm skipping too far in the skipping too far in the story. So I was originally gonna post it on Wattpad, but then like my friend said that, oh, like, but then I asked my friend like, hey, are there other sites that I could post on? And then like he showed me if you master the art, if you master the art of storytelling, you'll definitely get people to get people to read the comics and manga as well. Yeah, I definitely will. But yeah, but yeah, originally but yeah, I continue on. I was originally gonna, I was thinking of posting on Wattpad just because like that was like the first site that came up to mind about when like people just posting stories, posting like their own fictions and like stuff like that. But then like I looked up and then like I asked my friends like, hey, do you know other sites that you could post yada yada yada? And then like he showed me Royal Road and then like and like other sites. But then like I just looked. No, I think he showed me other sites, but the one that just stuck to me was Royal Road because he said that that was like basically where most light novels and like those types of stories, like the kind of story that I'm writing, like are usually at. So I looked it up, and then like I just did like I just did a quick Wattpad versus Royal Road, and then Google just like, well, Wattpad's more like has a lot more like romantic story s style story, like romantic story types in that, and Royal Road's more like light novel based. So like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go Royal Road. So I made my account, and then I posted my first chapter. Actually, no, I posted the introduction, and then like I posted the introduction first because introduction's the first thing. But then like, I got immediately rejected and said that, hey, can you actually post the actual first chapter to see if we will accept? Like, okay. So I posted my first chapter, it got accepted, and then I can post in the introduction for later next. And then if anything, I got I did get like plenty of people reading it, so that motivated me more too. But also like just like do like if anything, also live streaming really motivated me to actually write because when I'm writing on my own with nothing to force me to write in a sense, or like writing at my own pace, it's not like I'm not pushing myself to write. So I'm like, I can write later. It's like maybe nah, not today. But when I but now that I've set my but now that I basically said okay, writing is content for the channel. That is essentially the second motivation that is getting me to continue writing more and more consistently too. Not, but of course, like there are some writers. There's gonna be writer's block along the way, which I'm experiencing one right now because I may have written myself into a hole. So if anything, I'm probably gonna have to either rework that part ish so that it flows better. But I also want to keep it in there because I also want to basically give like other perspectives on the story, like outside of the main character's a situation. So that's why I have it in there. But at the same time, like I'm like thinking, okay, so how do I work? Like it's like because like world building is like a pain in the ass for me because I suck. It's like when you're creating when you're writing something from scratch, it's like, may I know the name of what you posted on there, please? Hold on, let me just write in chat so you can see it. Hidden plus right there. But also, let me just grab the link for you quickly. just to make it easier, or much even easier. Oh, the same we got on YouTube. Yeah, it's the same on we got. Yep, the same one on YouTube. But yeah, here's the link just so that it just be a less pain in the ass to type. But yeah, it's this is just to make it easier for you to get to the page. You should be able to get to the page. I think I should have everything on there. But yeah, those are just like some of the works I've posted so far. And basically, because I know that I was gonna take forever to write chapter by chapter, I just thought it would be fun. Like, oh, people can just watch me write. Like, if they don't want to wait, like to see the full chapter, well, I mean they could, but if they want to see like how like me literally writing word for word on like starting the chapter, ending the chapter, seeing like a live reaction, like basically seeing the new chapter live, you know? Because I usually like, for the most part, writers keep it behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Like no one, because like people they don't want to like because like I know that I'm gonna take forever. It's gonna take me like a week to or two to just finish one chapter, depending on if I'm a roll or if I'm on like it could even take a month. I don't know because it really depends on if I'm like, oh damn, I'm just like rolling, I'm just snowballing. Like, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this. Or else it's just like, okay, so what do I do? Uh like like it's like a it really depends on my mood and just like how quick thinking I am. Like, oh yes, this happens. Oh, and then this happens. Or just like, then what? Next one, next it really that's why that's why I was like I mentioned that's why I'm also doing live stream because like well I mean like you can see my thought process about the story live for people to anyone who wants to watch it and also just like for anyone who wants to read it along with me. Of course it can be like a pain in the ass because you have to listen to this guy yap but like random shit at the same time as well like trying to read it. So yeah, it's like of course like that is like the only other issue. Hearing the author yap about dumb shit and also trying to like stuck who but also stuck like not writing at all at times. It's like just continue writing. But that's the point of the VOD is just like to show you the work in progress that goes into writing a chapter and like not finishing or not finishing at all. Uh yeah, if anything just my yeah, the dinosaur is just my avatar just as I'm writing. Like think of it's essentially my VTuber model, but not really VTuber. Like, because I don't know how can because I guess because like it could be it's technically a VTuber model, but then like at the same time I'm not really a virtual tuber because I'm just me, I guess. You know, because like for the most part, from what I understand, that makes a VTuber a VTuber is well besides the model the virtual model is that they're often like a character all like on their own as well. That at least from what I understand is that they're technically a character all to their own. That sometimes well it depends on how much how much the streamer is willing to role play. But also like for the most part, it could also just be like a persona to like semi persona or just like just a character for like anybody. they like to like just like they're free, freedom of expression. You know what I mean? But yeah, for the most part, my Dino character is just gonna be just basically just meant to represent me. I just think maybe you can start a series with that idea. Document. Yeah, for real. Yep. But yeah, don't worry. I'm definitely gonna continue writing with just like I'm definitely gonna continue using this model, or at least an updated, maybe I'm an updated model, but who knows? Depends on if how successful I am. But you know what? I think I'm gonna call quits here. But yeah, thanks for sticking along with me. Nobody. I I believe that's is that an L or is that I 5S 5S? Is that I or L in your name? Mm. Oh yeah, I just keep forgetting that there's like a delay. That's like there's like a delay here, so it's just like kind of awkward to just be talking and waiting for your reaction, but then like realizing, oh yeah, you can't talk to me because there's like a 20-second delay. So I'm like waiting for an answer, just like talking to myself, just like waiting. But yeah, but yeah, I think I'm probably just gonna call it here. It's getting late, and I still have a job in the morning, so I don't know as well. It was a random handle generator since nobody was taken. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end the stream here. Uh, for anyone who's talking for future viewers of the VOD, thank you for sticking to this, and thank you nobody for sticking along to the end. Like and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Rocky Tales Production, and follow me on Twitch at Rocky Tales. All right, I'll see you guys later. On YouTube, Rocky Tales Production, and follow me on Twitch at Rocky Tales. All right, I'll see you guys later. On YouTube, Rocky Tales Production, and follow me